Hi, it's Scott Holdsworth and Robin Durney with you from the Sales Academy, and we're going to be doing your sawbones demonstration, which for the first time will also include a templating demonstration of our new SMF system. So let's get to it.
Hi, we're templating for the SMF titanium stem utilizing the new X-ray templates. They come in 115 and 120 the magnification, and also there are digital templates available. We're templating a patient's femur, and on this femur we have placed a size 4 template. The first thing I recommend is to move this line on the template at the tip or the very top of the greater troch. The next thing that I think is extremely important is that this line is right along the lateral cortex. And thirdly, there's a center line that you want running down the midline of the canal. Once you've achieved that, you then have lined up your osteotomy point on the neck of the femur. Please make reference of the scale on the medial side of the implant. Reference from the top of the lesser troch across to the scale so that in surgery you can place your osteotomy guide in the proper plane. This guide would be put in place on the femur, measuring across from the lesser troch to the same plane that you would have referenced from your templating. Also, on this template, it allows you to have an idea which of the necks you're going to use. They have all the different centers of the different modular necks. The little X's correspond with the different centers of each available femoral head that you can utilize.
All right, let's begin with a run through the instruments for the SMF stem. First, we'll start with tray 1 that you see here. Your initial osteotomy guide here will relate also to your template, which you saw earlier. We'll show you also how that's done when we do the actual sawbones demonstration. Antiversion handles that connect to both the osteotomy guide as well as the inserter and the reamer handles to guide you. Box osteotome, which is pretty consistent in every tray. Canal finder. Then you have your calcar planer. Then your initial broaches. So you have a starter broach here. Then your broaches that start in 1 through 9 within your stem sizes. Notice that once you get into size 2, they are completely compaction broaches, as you can see from the teeth patterns. After that, then we've got our various head trials. We have 28 millimeter, 32 millimeter, and 36 millimeter head trials in the set. We have your stem trial necks in the standard high offset, left and right. And then you also have them in a metal construct for your trialing in standard high offset, left and right as well. Last but not least, you have your femoral head impactor for placing your femoral head on the trunnion of the stem. That's tray 1. Here you see the new tray layout for tray 1. Please note the locations for the -1 and 0-0 broaches for the 2 monoblock stems, the 7 metal trial necks for use on the broaches, and finally the 4 plastic trial necks for use with the SMF implant. Okay, the tray 2 for the SMF system features your beginning with the stem punch. Then you have 2 straight broach handles for broaching the femur. You also have space for a right and a left, either double offset or single offset broach handles. In this case, what we're showing is a left double offset broach handle. Then you have your neck removal tool, and again, we'll show you how that works. Then you have 3 pieces here that are part of the inserter extractor assembly. These will have to be assembled to use them as you put in your definitive SMF implant. And that's everything in tray 2. Last, let's take a look at the implants themselves. First, you see the SMF stem. In this case, we have templated to a size 4, in which case that is also what we will implant into our sawbones model. The SMF stem, in terms of its actual overall length, a size 4, that distance is measured from the end of the porous coating on the medial aspect to the tip of the stem. In this case, a size 4, that distance would be 83 millimeters. Next, let's talk about our modular necks. The SMF system features 4 modular necks: a standard offset, high offset, and a right and left antiverted option. We will show you how each of those works within the sawbones demonstration. And last, we have our 36 millimeter plus 0 femoral head implant that we have templated to, and that is the femoral head implant that we'll use on this stem.
Hi everybody. We're going to do a sawbones demonstration of our new titanium SMF stem. This stem is really unique and offers some great advantages. However, there are some somewhat differences in preparing the femoral canal, and I just want to point those out as we move forward. First, thank you, Scott. We're going to utilize our osteotomy guide, and this guide we will follow up and show you in our templating exercise how it works. But it works relative to off the top of the greater troch, combining the top of the lesser troch with an osteotomy point. This guide helps you ascertain your position. Normally, the osteotomy for a femoral neck on any given component is between the top of the lesser troch and the undersurface of the femoral head. In this situation, we want to add roughly 5 to 8 millimeters of length to that femoral neck. So it's, rather than being in between, it's going to be closer to the undersurface of the femoral head. May I have the saw, please? I'm just going to mark my resection spot. Once the femoral head has been resected, we're going to use the box osteotome, just like always, to open up towards the lesser troch, or towards the greater troch. And we're going to impact the box osteotome opening up the neck somewhat. I'm going to use the canal finder simply to gain access to where the canal would be. I'm going to use this canal finder to take some bone away laterally. I am not going to put the canal finder all the way down the canal. Next, we're going to introduce the new, very aggressive broach. It's a very small broach. It's an introducer. And this is a bit of a workhorse for you. This allows you to shape and keep the lateral portion of the SMF stem where it belongs. Notice my broach handle is not really going in line with the femoral canal. I I'm going to keep that available because I'm going to be machining with it as we move along. Then we will move to the next smallest broach, which is a size 0.
Size 1.
This is a 1?
Yes, sir.
It's a fully cutting broach. I'm going to go back, work laterally a little more. Return to the fully cutting broach. I will countersink this a little bit.
Size 2.
I will countersink this size 2 as well. Thank you.
Size 4.
Size 4. The size 4 broach has been fully seated. I'm going to take my broach handle off. Now we're going to use our new design Calcar reamer. It's really designed to cut the bone rather than break it. We can now use our trial neck system.
Standard.
You have metal trial necks that work off the broach, which are very nice. A standard, a high offset. These necks are magnetized. So let's shoot with a standard trial head. If I want to check to see if my length is appropriate, I can do this. I can see that I'm a bit short. Change to a high offset. Pretty much where I want to be. So it's a 0 with a high offset. And that's trialing off the broach. We can also trial off the actual implant, which we're going to do next. So I'll put the broach handle back on. I would like to point out the reason the broach handle has to be at an angle is so that the lateral portion of this stem is up against the lateral cortex. If I bring the broach handle in line with the canal, it pulls the tip of the stem off the lateral cortex, which we don't want. So that's why we use the broach handle at a bit of an angle. The implant comes with this taper protector in it, and inside that taper, down in the bottom, is a threaded hole. The protector goes inside. The stem attachment device goes on it, and down through that hole goes a threaded locking nut that locks it into the SMF stem, protecting the Morse taper. We use the same broach handle to insert the SMF stem into the canal. The circumferential stick-tight coating is extremely aggressive, and as was pointed out earlier, the broaches, the compaction broaches, are designed to accommodate the aggressive coating. So we're going to slip this implant in as far as it will go by hand. I will impact this until the line of the porous coating is in conjunction with the line of our osteotomy. The implant is now fully seated. Take out the driving device and the protective sleeve. We now can trial neck with the different types of plastic trial necks. If you notice on the end of the Morse taper, there's an arrow which indicates the correct position of that neck. And then you can run through your range of motion again. Check for your center, which is good. You can now implant your actual implants. Now, to impact our actual implant modular neck, it also has the arrow to indicate the appropriate position. There are several ways to impact this modular neck in place. The head impactor has a flat portion inside that you can put against the taper and impact it that way. You can also impact it with a trial head in place that way. So you can then check your heads several times after that. Or you can actually put your implant in place and impact them together. If in fact you have to change your modular neck, there is an instrument in the tray that allows you to do so. This device has a driving wedge on it. When placed in position and implanted or impacted, it will break the Morse taper bond and you'll be able to extract the modular neck. I have resected this sawbones so that you can see where the stem is fitting distally up against the lateral cortex where it belongs. It's very important that this is the position you achieve.